All right. Thank you for rocking with me here on a Monday night. A couple things to go over. Obviously, the big news of the day. And let's go ahead and share the screen. The Deshaun Watson punishment came down. There was rumors it was going to be 8 games. It was 6 games. I've talked about this a lot, so I don't want to stay on it too long. I'll just say that a lot of people are putting pressure on the league and saying they're disappointed on the league. It's a bad look for the league. This, that, and the third. And the truth of the matter is, the league doesn't have a problem with this issue. The society does. Like it's interesting that that people want the league to punish for something that the legal system doesn't even punish for. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, you know, because it's interesting because this all came about the league punishing Roger Goodell being the punishing commissioner because of 3 players: Adam Pac-Man Jones, Tank Johnson, the D tackle, Bears and Cowboys, and Chris Henry. Rest in peace. Right? There was 2 summers in a row where it felt like they just kept getting arrested. It just every day they were getting. It felt like there was something. Especially Pac-Man. And the funny thing about Pac-Man is I don't think he's ever spent a day in prison. But all these people are making us look bad. We need to punish. Started punishing. Misstep after misstep after misstep with the Ray Rice, with the Tom Brady, the Ezekiel Elliott. There was, the Ezekiel Elliott situation. The individual that the NFL hired, the woman that they hired to do the investigation, came back to them and told them, I don't believe his accuser. And they still suspended him, Ezekiel Elliott. So I say that to say, should they even be in this business at all? Right? Like, I understand suspending people, like, hey, you've been accused of something, so there's certain jobs that you can't do. You know what I'm saying? If you have a felony, you cannot run for political office, right? But these guys are throwing fucking footballs, right? They're throwing fucking footballs like this, so it's just I don't understand. Like, again, I was telling my boy RJ about this story today, where I was watching this Tinder swindler documentary. It's about this guy who was on Tinder acting like he was some billionaire diamond heiress. No, heir, not heiress. Yeah, heiress would be a woman. He was an heir to some billionaire diamond fortune. And he would meet women on Tinder, fly them out, show them a good time, and bathe them in gifts and all types of situations. And what he would do is, it was the same story every time. Fake like he got kidnapped, fake he had certain situations. The women would send him money because he says, I need money to get out of jail or to do this, do that. I'll pay you back. They'll pay him back because, hey, he's taking me on private planes. He's showering me with gifts. Of course he got the money. It's a Ponzi scheme. He was take the money from this one, do it to the next one, do it to the next one, do it to the next one. So long story short, at the end of the documentary, he gets a year in prison. And I remember thinking, like, man, this is anticlimactic. He did all this shit and all this chasing by international authorities, and he only gets 1 year in prison. And I started to think, I was like, am I wanting him to get punished because I'm an American and this is the way that we're taught in America, that, hey, if you get accused of something, you get found guilty, punish. And that's kind of the reason why, right, that we have, that's kind of the reason why we have the system that we have right now, right, where so many of our citizens are in jail. Of all the industrialized nations, by far we have the most amount of people in jail. It's a staggering amount by far. And is it because of our mentality that, hey, you did something, you got to go to jail, you got to sit, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I'm not excusing any behavior. I'm not excusing nothing. But what I'm saying is, why is it up to a league where they pay football to be a moral arbiter? You know, like I heard, like I'm a big fan of the Dan Le Batard show, and Dan Le Batard was saying, "Well, this shows the league, this shows women that they don't care about them." It was like, well, he wasn't found, you know, like I don't know, like I think that's a bridge too far to say that, you know, they're like it makes it so easy for them. It's so easy to attack the NFL, but if he's not found guilty in a court of law, like you understand, like this is a difficult process. Like, oh, Calvin Ridley got a year suspension for betting on football, but that has to do with football, right? That actually has to do with the sport, with their league. Tom Brady got suspended for deflating football. That actually has to do, and I don't think he actually did that, but that has to do with actual football. You're asking them to suspend players for stuff that happened off the field and for stuff that has nothing to do with football and for stuff that our own legal system doesn't penalize them for, right? Like it's like I was telling my friend, like when Michael Vick got suspended after he just came out of prison. Why should he get suspended again? He just sat. He was just in prison. Like he did his time. I just like punish. I actually think what's going to happen is he's going to get suspended for the year. Roger Goodell's going to appeal. It's a bad look. The league doesn't want the negative publicity. I'm sure the owners are upset with the Browns for giving him this completely guaranteed contract. You know, there was a bunch of teams that were in the bidding. The Panthers, the Eagles, the Saints got in at the last second, the Falcons. So it's not like, you know, people didn't want him. Panthers, excuse me, 5 teams there. That's 5 teams that I know of, that we know of. You know, there's probably another team that made a call like, whoop, you know, what's good. So it's not like the league didn't want him to play, but I'm sure they're upset that he went so far to say, hey, I'm going to give you a fully guaranteed contract, because I'm sure that's giving them some headaches. So I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think it's as easy as saying the NFL doesn't care about women because they don't suspend them, because once again, he has not been convicted of anything. And regardless of what you think, if you think that, you know, the legal system has an issue dealing with this, but how can you want to step in and do the job that the legal system, people who are paid and trained to do this can't to do? Why are you jumping in it? You know? And it's just like, it would be funny if Roger Goodell took the stand and said, you know what? I'm out of it. Whatever our disciplinary officer decides, that's what it is. I'm out of it. I don't think he's going to do that. He's been paid $400 million in the last 10 years. He's been paid more than any NFL player since his tenure. He's been paid for and never threw a touchdown, never sacked a quarterback, never, you know, broke a tackle in his life. He's making more than every player that's played in the league. But there's a reason why they pay him that. They pay him to take the hit. So I think that he is going to do the NFL owners' bidding. And you know, a lot of times he works for the owners. Pure end of story. So, you know, there's a lot of comparison like, hey, well, Robert Kraft did this and Dan Snyder's accused of that. That's cool, but like how many people would punish their boss that are listening to, you know, this right now would punish their boss? Like who does that? You know, it's easy to say these things, but like, let's put it into real life. Let's put this Deshaun Watson situation into real life for any company in America. You wouldn't even know that he had these allegations, your coworker. You wouldn't know. And he would still be working at whatever company it was if he never goes to jail, right? If he's an accountant, he works at the IRS, he works for the federal government. You don't even have to list it on your job application. You don't have to list accusations. You only have to list convictions. He could work anywhere in America. He could even run for office, right? Like, for example, our former president, Donald Trump, has 8 allegations of sexual misconduct. And he was he was the president of this country, right? So to make it seem like it's an NFL problem, I think is lazy and we're missing the point. This is a problem that we're all having. These are difficult subjects to deal with. And the idea that a league, once again, where they throw footballs and one guy catches it and another guy breaks it, like they always try to put this like morality into team sports, but it's just the truth about it matter is like they're all human beings under these helmets, and they're going to do bad things just like the rest of society does bad things. The NFL doesn't have a problem with sexual abuse. The world has a problem with it, right? And to think that the NFL, a league where they, once again, a league where they throw footballs and a league, your kid, I played that game at recess. It's not like, these are politicians and, people making, decisions on municipalities and where people are living. Like, it's none of that. It's just football. Right? Like it's the same thing that I say about college football. Like there's people, oh no, the integrity of the game. It's fucking football. People watch football. They come to watch football. So I don't know. That's where I leave it. We'll see what happens. Once again, I think he's probably going to get suspended for a year. And I'm not attacking you if you want him to be suspended. I'm not attacking you if you don't want him to be suspended. I'm just saying my perspective is that we're looking at this thing completely wrong. I don't understand. The NFL started this shit. I don't blame anybody. They started it with Pac-Man Jones and Chris Henry and Tank Johnson. And once again, Pac-Man never did a day in prison. I don't think Chris Henry did a day in prison. Rest in peace. I think Tank Johnson, he did some days for some guns in his home, but they were suspending people. They set a dangerous precedent that I'm going to suspend you and punish you, even if you're not punished by the legal system, right? For stuff that has nothing to do with football. They set that dangerous precedent. But at the same time, just because you've been doing the wrong thing for a long time doesn't mean that you can't stop. Like, when do they stop and say, you know what, we shouldn't even be in this business in the first place? We'll let the teams decide if this looks bad for the league, right? All the 32 owners, they're the ones with they're the ones with the equity, right? The owners are the ones with the equity, right? So they're the ones that actually truly can decide what's bad for the sport or not. And then the viewers with their eyeballs and with their attention can decide what's bad for the sport or not. But why is someone independently arbitrating it when, again, the legal system has not punished him? Whether you fit, and if you think that's unfair, shouldn't we be focusing this energy at the legal system, not at a league where they throw footballs on Sundays? Right? Like immorality in the NFL, like CTE, immoral. Them hiding the effects of CTE from their players, them not openly telling them, hey, this might have dangerous effects for you, that was wrong. They've done it. It's readily available information to everybody now. Everybody knows what they're going into, right? That was immoral. That was wrong. They paid a judgment for that. But this situation, when our legal system can't get it right, and our politics has showed you people don't care. Once again, Trump has 8. And he had 70 million people vote for him who didn't care. And there's 70-something million who voted against him. And how many of them was that a top 3 or 4 issue? And I'm not voting for him because he has 8 allegations. Nobody says that. Who says that? Right? So it's not like I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just trying to say this is a complex issue. You know what I'm saying? And to think that a league where they throw footballs and they play on Sundays is the one that's going to figure it out is kind of insane, right? So, all right, I'll leave it there. Let's get to the sport. Now, James Washington, out 6 to 10 weeks with a fractured foot. I think this is big, man, because if you watch my Cowboys preview, do they have the actual injury? Damn, you can see where my boy get hurt right there. When they had the Cowboys preview, go check that out. I said that I thought he was going to have a monster year. I thought that he was very underutilized for the Steelers. He was a massive deep threat. With Gallup being hurt, I thought he was going to have in line for a massive season. He has a foot injury. Generally, with the foot injuries, I remember when Julio had one. I forget another one. Receivers, you're putting so much pressure on your foot, you're cutting, and getting in and out of breaks that it says 6 to 10 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses more than half the season. So, that's a tough blow for him. He's on a 1-year contract, but hopefully, he comes out and he hits the ground running. They're going to have to make a trade for a receiver. Their receiving core is thin. It's crazy. They go from 1 year to the deepest receiving core in the football to the next year where it's what's the name? It's it's injured Gallup and CD Lamb. Like it's tough. It's tough. Life comes at you fast in the NFL. I don't know why they let that Cedric Wilson go. I liked him a lot, and he's in Miami. He's going to be languishing. They're super stocked at receiver. He's a third receiver. This is a team that uses their run game more than everything. So maybe I don't know. NFL, they don't like doing trades, but like maybe I'll hit the horn. They had one of the receivers today. I think his name is Preston Williams, complain about he's not being used. He got signed as a free agent. So, what's next? Another tampering, people crying and bitching, whatever. Tampering versus the Knicks. I mean, they obviously tampered. They locked that deal up before the season was over. Everybody knew that. They obviously tampered. This I thought it was Draymond Green and Jalen Green. Jefferson out a few weeks after surgery. This is big. They run more 31 personnel, 3 receivers, 1 tight end than any team in the league. So to lose a guy, especially a guy that's probably their best pure deep threat, Allen Robinson has been showing out in camp, and they got him on a premium deal. They signed him, I think it was only for $15 million a season. That was before the Kirk deal kind of reset the market. So we'll see, but that's a tough blow for them. It's just the time of year, you get so pumped about football, but then it's just injuries, man. Who can fight the attrition, man? Who can fight the attrition? Let's see. Allen Lazard named to be the number 1 receiver. This is one of the more interesting things to me because I really don't understand what Green Bay is doing. You have a Super Bowl defense. You have a back-to-back MVP as your quarterback. And you have Allen Lazard as your number 1. I've watched him play a lot. Listen, he might surprise me, right? But he doesn't look like he has the juice to be a deep threat. At times he kind of reminds me of Miles Austin. You remember him for the Cowboys? A fair-skinned fellow. But he was a nice route runner, had more juice than you expected. But to put him as this is a receivers league. Like, remember the Super Bowl? As soon as OBJ got hurt for the Rams, they struggled to move the ball. After moving it like this while he was healthy, they struggled to move it. This is a receivers league. I don't care how good your system is, your quarterback is. If you don't have guys on the perimeter that can get open, so to have this team and to go in with Allen Lazard, an unproven guy, I don't think he's ever had 1,000 yards in his career. Yeah, he set a career high last year with 40 catches and 500 yards. That's your number 1 motherfucking receiver in a season you're trying to win the Super Bowl? I beg your pardon. Like, I don't understand what they're doing in Green Bay. Their whole hierarchy, I don't understand it. Maybe they look at it like, hey, we'll make a trade, but NFL, those trades, they never happen. So maybe they sign OBJ and like, hey, let's just try to until he gets hurt. But he got hurt in February of last year. So there's no guarantee he's even going to be ready to play this year. Right? He got hurt in the Super Bowl. So, we'll see, man. They know better than me, but we'll see. Because that's always the thing. Oh, you're not a coach, you're not around the team, you don't know what they got going on, you don't know what he's doing in practice. But a lot of times I'll be looking at it and I'm like, man, that don't look right. And when the season starts, it don't look right. So I got a guest host. What's going on, baby?
I didn't get to have 3 Oreos because I couldn't.
Okay, you can go ahead and have one. All right.
I couldn't reach them.
Oh, you couldn't reach them? Okay, I'll come get them in a second. Okay.
You said I could have 3.
Okay. All right, man. Those 3 Oreos might put us over the salary cap. All right, so I'm gonna leave it here. It's just been interesting, man. A couple of my videos have done really well. I'm just trying to figure out the algorithm, figure out, the way I'm gonna do it. But this is fun. I finally committed myself to do videos every day and post every day. And I remember the first time that you could make money off of talking sports. I didn't know this till I was like 21, 22. That would definitely have been my major in college, sports journalism. But this is fun, and we'll see where it leads me. But thanks for everybody for the support. Those team previews, I'm gonna keep them coming. I gotta do a smoke show because people they're attacking me. Somebody in my college football thing, he just wrote propaganda, just skewered me. Oh, this is propaganda. It's not right. What you made? It's not fair. Turn it to EuroLeague football with relegation and whatever. So yeah, I got to do a smoke show. So I'm gonna get the best comments and do a show on that. So, all right, thanks for the love. I appreciate the support. Games again. All right, thank you for watching this clip. Do me a favor, push the button, hit subscribe. Come on, man, push it.
Call everybody up! Push the goddamn button! Push the goddamn button! You heard what she said.
Man, do what's right. You heard her. Push the button. The game is a game.
So what's up, man? What's up with you otherwise, The game is a game. Always.